Evet canım, bugün Cuma.
Evet, bugün 9 Haziran Cuma 2017. Kahvaltıya iniyoruz.
Yolculuk ne tarafa bugün?
Yolculuk bugün nereydi?
Ventimiglia and Menton.
Menton.
Fransa'ya geçeceğiz tekrar.
Evet.
Ventimiglia Open Market.
Open Market'e gideceğiz.
Evet ve Fransa. Hadi bakayım. Unutma pasaportları alalım bence.
Aldım.
Bezen aldı mı?
Aldım, başladım da. Ha, nedir Becan yaptığın?
Bu kirlileri bakın bu temiz naylona.
Hı.
Bunları en altına koyuyor.
Tamam.
İki pantolon kirli.
Yeah.
Onlar en altında olacak.
Hı.
Ve çıkarttıkça en altına koyayım. Nasıl? Organizasyonum nasıl Becan?
Tamam.
Gördün mü? Ha, bu anahtarı zaten istemeye ikna şimdilik. Tamam, bunları yerleştireyim şimdi. Oldu Beşan.
Tamam.
Ve hemen şeye gideceğiz. Vaktimiz var mı Beşan?
Azaldı vaktimiz.
Hadi. Tamam, oynama Beşan. Oynama lütfen.
Of course you have, yes. You do, we were stopped last time we did this one, it must be about seven weeks or so ago. We did actually get stopped on the French border and they did check the passports. At the time, all they actually did was got everyone to hold them up, prove they got a EU passport, so it was fairly straightforward, but it's just a warning, it may well happen when we go across. So, if you, obviously, basically if you haven't got your passport, we'll pick you up at the border on the way back. You can entertain the customs bid.
I mean, you're stuck at the border then.
Right, anyway, so we'll head off down to Ventimiglia. We're heading the opposite direction today. In fact, all the rest of the trips out on this one all head the opposite way. Head down to more this, the French and Italian border, that part of the Riviera. That's the sort of interesting bit, shall we say, the bit where you've got all the resorts and so on. So obviously we're going to head down there. Ventimiglia, not so much a resort, more of a town to explore. You've got an old town up on the hill one side of the river. You've got the newer town the other side, of course with the market. So I know a lot of people like having a little wander around a market when they're down there. And I'll tell you a little bit more about both of them, obviously when we get a little bit closer. In the meantime, much the same views as we had yesterday, except it's out the other side of the window, the same as we did coming back. So you've got the sea to your left and obviously you've got the hills to your right. So when we get a little bit closer to Ventimiglia, I'll start to tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, sit back and relax.
Thank you.
And what do we think about our home parliament?
Yeah. If you could just have a word with us. Yeah, cold water tea doesn't work very well. Yeah. If they could keep the flask tops up, obviously hot coffee and tea. But we won't be back today probably until about 5ish anyway, so they don't need to worry during the day today. But obviously if they could arrange it for when they get back, so they can make themselves a coffee or a tea when they get back, that would be very nice. Yes, we're going down to Ventimiglia and Menton today, so we'll be out all day. There are only two ladies left behind, but they will be on the beach. So there's nobody actually in the hotel during the day, but obviously it would be nice if they could sort it when they get back. All right. That's lovely. Thank you, Clemson. Bye. Thank you. Bye. The games are also a lot of the history of that part of Monte Carlo. Then we travel over for about lunchtime into the probably, in a lot of ways, more interesting part, which is Monaco City itself. We park in a coach park, got their teams in there. Probably some of the most visited tombs in Europe, I would say. Beautiful cathedral as well. Take you across to the palace, where you'll see the changing of the guard at the palace. They're quite elaborate uniforms, the Monegasque soldiers wear. Those of you that want to actually go into Alice itself, she can arrange for a sort of group rate to get you in as well, which obviously is a great bonus and it's a lot cheaper. And then she'll take you around and sort of show you various other bits and pieces, point other bits of information out, and bits and pieces to do with the history. So again, Daphne's with us all day on Tuesday when we go to Monaco, Monte Carlo. So if anybody's interested in doing that particular side of it with Daphne, again, just have a chat with either Julie or myself. One side with all the beautiful old alleyways and churches and so on, and then on the other side you've got the new town, and running alongside the river you've got the market. Obviously I'll point the market and so on out when we get down there to you. It's very old, dates back to before Roman times. It's since lived under the Romans, Charlemagne, the Genoese, even was commanded by Napoleon at one point. Most of the old city dates back to medieval times. It's as you probably know, this sort of area is sort of a bit prone to earthquakes, and so a lot of the town sort of had to be rebuilt over the centuries. But most of it's medieval, sort of quite old, quite interesting. You've got the lovely old Chiesa di San Michele Arcangelo, which is the church of the Archangel Michael. That dates back to the 10th century, so it's about 1,000 years old, which is rather beautiful. So you've also got the market, which I know a lot of people will have come to see. It's quite a big market here. It stretches down the Newtown side of the river, heading down towards the river entrance. Fairly easy to spot, but I will point it out when we get down there anyway. So we should be there just after 10. We're due to leave at 1 o'clock, so 1 o'clock from somewhere close to where we drop you off. We may not be able to pick you up at exactly the same point, but what I'll probably do is I'll have a walk down from the coach park just before 1, and I'll sort of hopefully be able to collect you up all together for where we should be able to pick you up. It's a typical market town, it's not always easy to get in and stop, so we shall see what we can do. For the meltwaters, the water floods down, so they're only really wet sort of once a year in the spring when all the meltwater comes down. Very
Ritirare la tessera. Arrivederci. Ritirare lo scontrino. Arrivederci.
She's a bit more sort of. I think there's a. Oh, right, okay. See the service buses all parked on the bridge here. Right, now we're going to park it somewhere here. You need to make your way. Don't come backwards from the coach, because if you do, you'll have hell's own job. You'll finish up this dual carriageway. You need to go through alongside the coaches and just keep going round to the left. You can either go directly ahead if you want to visit the old town. If you come back across the bridge, the other side, it's got a pavement on it, and turn right. That will lead you down alongside the river. You can see the market down there as we come across. So we'll drop you down here. Please be very careful. The other place we can drop you is the coach park, but the coach park's a good 10-15 minutes walk out of the town. So obviously we want to try and drop you here because it gives you a little bit less of a.
Yürü gidelim o tarafa bakayım neler.
Domenica. Und vorne hätten uns nachher wird die Medaille und
Çantalara bakacak mı ben ha? İşte mesela.
Çantamı alacağım.
He. Bezan. Biraz break yapalım dedi.
Biraz break yapalım, yoruldu. Hava sıcaktır da yorar insanı.
İşte. Ne yapayım? Badem.
Bademleri yiyelim.
Kavrulmuş badem. Ne yapayım Bezan? Ne aldık şimdi?
Cihangir'e tişört,
Oh!
Cihangir'e futbol şeyi.
Yani
takımı.
bu iş Cihangir'e yaradı.
Ya.
Nedir Bezan onlar? Ha?
Cihangir'e İtalyan tişörtü aldık.
5-6 yaş olur mu Bezan?
5-6 yaş olacak büyüyünce.
Tamam öteki.
Bir de
Ha, bir
mavisi.
de mavi. Oh! Cihangir'e yaradı ya bu takdir. Bize bir şey gene yok.
Bu da takımcık.
Nasıl takımcı?
Şortuyla.
Ha, futbol şeyi.
Yes.
Hadi ya.
Junior.
Tamam. O da 8 yaş ama.
8 yaş.
Ama zaten şimdi yaz bitiyor giyemez. Bari gelen sene geç. Onun için biraz büyük aldım.
Ben istedim göreyim 8 yaşın büyüklüğünü.
He,
Ve karar vereyim.
tamamdır ya. Tamam, çocuk güle güle giysin. Ama okulda bunu İtalyan zannedecekler Bezan.
Ha.
İtalyanca bari konuşursa.
Ha. İtalyanca. Türkçeyi konuşsun da. Türkçe, İngilizce, sonra İtalyanca. Paklaşlara elma koydular. İmkan yok şeyler.
Hep o kafa.
Atılar geldi. Bak bak bak. Ne yaptın?
Bak ya.
Şimdi kafamıza şey yapacaklar. O tarafa at.
Bunların gagaları şeydir, hatayı dikili. Görün bir şeyi hepsi bizden sözde geldi. Daha gelirler. Nasıl sözlerler?
Sigalların da sadece biridir çok açık
Ha,
gözmece.
bir hırsız var orada hepsininkini çalar.
Bak
O da var.
onu yutamadı.
Alır da kaçar başka atar. Ha? Bak ona o düşüktü ağzından gitti alsın hemen kaptı. Bak atar yere şu. Gelecek alsın gene. Aha aldı.
İyi
Sen
etti.
beklen. Daha atar yiyeceğim.
Da otelci bilmez. Yani
Ama şey bilmediydi. Öteki o South East Asia'dan gelen.
işte
O da işaret ile bize söyledi. Yoruldu aldı kendini. Burası Andrea Doria Köprüsü. Andrea Doria bilindiği gibi İtalyan bir denizciydi ve 1500 veya o dönemlerde Barbaros Hayrettin Paşa tarafından büyük bir yenilgiye uğratılmıştı Preveze Deniz Savaşı'nda. Preveze Deniz Savaşı'nı Barbaros Hayrettin Paşa üstün zekasıyla çok muazzam bir şekilde galip gelmiştir. Onlar da mağlup olan bir amirale bu köprü adını verdiler.
hadi yürü biz bakalım.
City of the Arts. So it's going back quite a long way. It's got that sort of heritage of artistic talent and so on there. It was at one time part of Genoa, when Genoa was a republic in its own right. It then became part of Monaco. And in fact, right the way up until Napoleon III, and of course it was found in Victorian times, as opposed to Napoleon, the Emperor Napoleon. We know Napoleon III, because I think he probably was Napoleon's grandson, from memory. He then gave, it was given by Monaco to Napoleon III, became part of the French Republic. So it's only a comparatively recent sort of French part of the world. So just making sure we get the right road down. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes this road's shut and you have to go a different way in, but luckily it's open today. Anyway, so yes, it was up until Victorian times it was part of Monaco, and then before that it was effectively sort of an Italian sort of province. It was part of the Genoa Republic, and so then finished up under Napoleon III in the middle of the Victorian times. It was given over to France, became part of the Republic. It's a little bit like a mini can in very many ways. It's got quite a few sort of cultural events, includes music, theatre, dance, and it's also got its famous casino as well, which is quite a posh one. As you can imagine, along this coast, the whole coast is very sort of favourable climate, and you've got lots of public and private gardens. So there you can see the marina up this end. You can see all the newer hotels and the little sort of clump in the middle with the sort of terracotta buildings, which is the old city.
Yes.
There you see the tricolour and the sign saying just about into France.
Manoeuvre.
Yeah. So we've currently got the old town is just starting, sort of directly ahead of us there. We just skirt round the edge of it, drop you off on the seafront on the promenade, and sort of.
Menton'dayız Becan. Fransa'nın İtalya hududu dibinde bir yer. Çok yakın Ventimiglia'ya. Evet, bir çeyrek araba sürüşüyle bu town'a geldik. Buraya bir explore yapalım ve 4'te döneceğiz canım. Becan. Hep çakıl. Tamam. Queen Victoria istasyonu. Evet, şimdi Menton'dayız. Bir saatimiz daha var. Bundan sonra geriye döneceğiz. Özay biraz yorulduğu için oturup dinlendi. Ben buralara kadar geldim. Menton'da güzel, şirin, tatlı bir küçük kasaba. Tatil iyi geçiyor.
That's a bit strange. The lights were all white. It's normally the colours of San Marino. It's brown, I don't know, never mind. Anyway, that gentleman next to the coach there got his shirt on he bought when he had a holiday. He visited Manchester, and he got Manchester all across the wearing his in support of obviously what happened the other week, unfortunately. But he said he's had many lovely holidays in the UK, and didn't like the tragedies that have been going on there. He said it's so terrible. Anyway, so you'll be all right, Menton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, nice little town, isn't it? I was saying the other day, as the week goes on, so it gets a little bit posher each day, basically. San Remo tomorrow, a little bit posher than this, and as we go on, of course, then we visit Cannes, which is a film festival. We were looking, last time we were in Cannes, the week we were there, you could get a room in the Grand for about €170 a night, which isn't too bad for a French hotel on the Riviera. The week, they still had rooms, believe it or not. The week, or, the fortnight of the Cannes Film Festival, you were looking at about £5 to £6 grand just for a room. This wasn't a suite, just a room.
Just the room that was going to cost you 200 the week before.
Yeah, 200 the week before.
Victoria.
Not that they try and make a profit, of course.
Biraz daha buraya kadar.
Can a little bit posher, and then of course when we get to Monaco, Monte Carlo, even posher still. We found out last time we came here, we went out through the tunnel and made our way up to the motorway. It took us forever to get onto the motorway. So we decided it's actually quicker and a little bit nicer. We're just going to have a run back along the same way we did before, back down to Ventimiglia along the coast, and then we'll pick up the motorway at Ventimiglia and head off down. So it's a little bit less traffic and a little bit nicer to use. It wasn't a particularly pretty way out of the town that way. So obviously we get all the nice sea views down this one, which should be a bit better.
Yes, yes.
Anybody see Queen Victoria, is that when they're travelling? Or perhaps she's not this week. Now about 1,000 metres, 1 kilometre until we get to Italy.
Italy, yes.
What I'll do is once we get up onto the motorway again, I'll give it 5-10 minutes and I'll come through, see if anybody wants a tea or a coffee or anything. Road off and wait for the next crop. A lot of them actually in Italy they leave the lemons on them. I don't know if it's the trees are getting a bit old, perhaps the lemons aren't all they used to be.
Tekrar İtalya'ya dönüyorum.
Tabii.
Şu anda Fransa'dayız.
Evet. Şu anda Fransa'da yarım kilometre sonra.
Yarım kilometre sonra geçeceğiz İtalya'ya.
Ne işte. Ne güzel.
Julie, the captain's just bringing the yacht in, so if we pop down here later, we can go out for a little cruise. The delivery mileage into whichever place on the Riviera that they decide they want it, it gets tied up. They just get left there, permanently connected to the electric and the water, and they never even go and see with them, which seems rather a waste to me.
They got up to use it.
Have you ever seen a more confusing looking roundabout sign, the one just coming up on the left hand side?
Market
Looks like the market's still full swing, you know? Strange situation. They must have had to put all diesel buses just to do that, I would imagine.
Motorway'e girdik bacım.
Yazma mı?
Yok. Motorway'e girdik. 1-1,5 saat sonra evdeyiz. Saat kaç? 16:20. 16 yıl.
geçer.
Evet.
Geri dönüyoruz değil mi hocam?
Evet.
Güzel bir gün geçirdim Mehmet abi. Görüyor musun? Ha, görüyor musun? Ne güzel tatil geçiriyoruz. Bundan sonra tatsızlık yok. Sana söz veriyorum. Biz zaten uygulayız.
17.08 geldi.
Olayım bunlar için gel. Yemekteyiz. Bu starterimizdir.
He.
Bundan sonra makarna gelecek ve roast chicken.
Roast chicken. Onları çekemem ama.
Ha. Masamızda. Buz.
Becan. Bizim ahbaplar gelmeden bari çekeyim.
Ya.
Bana ne yapan Becan?
Bırak.
He.
Değil. Tabii. Temiz.
Elmaları nerede buldun?
Ben bana şirketten.
Parklan çağırdılar.
Ya. Çatal da isterdin. Çatalım da var. Ay,